I'm going to show you a quick edit to make the most out of your light painting photographs. So when we look at this, we see our city is a little bright. We see the edges around her are rather bright, but yet she's in shadow. So let's just develop the raw photo together and give you a little idea of how you can improve upon it. All right, so the first thing is, depending on what white balance you shot in, you may want to make it warmer or colder, which I like to make a little colder. And the first thing we're going to handle is try to handle some of these highlights. So this is in Lightroom Classic, however, Adobe RAW converter. Yours will look similar to this if that's what you use. So it should all be the same nomenclature and highlights and all that stuff. So I'm going to pull those highlights down just a little bit. We still got some brightness here, but that's all right. We try to pull that down just a little. And then I want to bring my shadows up just a little bit, right? Give us a little definition here, a little definition in her face. We can do an overall exposure lift without blowing the highlights, and then maybe add some clarity to it and dehaze, maybe just a little dehaze. All right, and then I'm going to make sure to always go to noise reduction, and I'm going to choose 40. So any raw file, you always want to process noise reduction no matter what. There's also enable profile corrections. You may or may not want to use that. Here I think it creates too much. I'm going to turn that off. It was an auto upload for me. It may not even be on for you. And then now that that's off, it's still a little dark. I might want to push my exposure just a little bit. And again, pull some more of those highlights down. And just look at it right there. So overall, it's a much better photograph. You see a little bit more of the light on her face. The highlights here are down a little bit more. And if you notice, it brought out a little bit more of the stars that were there. And your foreground has some nice texture. Again, you can play with color if you wanted to make it more saturated, or if you even wanted to go to your color saturation for your orange, you can make it more, you can make it less. You can play with those colors here, create some nice textures just by playing with your color. Again, your white balance, make it a little more blue if you wanted, but I like it about right there. All right, guys, so this is a much better photograph. Give it some texture, give it some lift, and I hope it helps you. Thanks.